So Paul and I are engaged and we officially have a wedding date, which means it's finally time to start making my wedding dress. And actually, we've had a wedding date for a while now. It just kind of took me a while to get to here. Anyway, the date is April 26th and today is March 13th, so I have about a month and a half to make the wedding dress. And I would have started a lot sooner, but it took a really long time for my fabric to get settled. I ordered the fabric on Etsy on January 18th. Which is crazy that it's been that long since I ordered it originally. The shop I ordered from was based in China, which I was a little worried about, but I was like, it'll be fine. They had over like 3,000 really good reviews and the fabric was like exactly what I wanted. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. So I ordered it and they said it would take about 3 weeks to arrive. So those 3 weeks passed and there was no fabric, which I was like, no, I didn't want this to happen. So anyway, I reached out to the seller and they said that the fabric got lost in the mail. And then I was like, well, shoot, what am I gonna do? They were able to give me a refund and then I started looking for different fabric. I was kind of sad because the fabric I had originally ordered was like exactly what I wanted and it was really pretty. And anyway, so I started searching on Etsy. I was having a hard time finding something like what I originally got that was coming from America because I wanted to make sure it was coming from America to make sure that it would come in a decent time. I ended up ordering the fabric that I have now and it's different than what I originally wanted, but I think it's going to work better than what I was originally planning and it's so pretty. So here she is. You might have been able to see her in the corner, but this is, I think 5 or 6 yards, I can't remember exactly, 5 or 6 yards of this beautiful embroidered cotton. And I'm trying not to let it get on the floor because I really need to sweep because there's a bunch of cat hair everywhere. But it's this super duper pretty embroidered cotton. And some of the flowers are like 3D too. And it has this lovely like scallop along the edge that I'm going to use on the bottom of the skirt, and it's just super pretty and like soft and it just feels really nice and I'm really excited to have it on my body in a dress. Thankfully, the other fabrics that I'm planning on using I already had. So I bought this giant roll probably like a year ago now. I saw this at a thrift store and I was immediately struck with, I could use this for my wedding dress. So I just bought it because this is 11.5 yards and it was $14.50 and it's like really nice. I don't know if it's quite chiffon. I don't really know what you would call this because it's not see-through. I keep calling it like chiffon in my head, but I don't think it is. But it's like a really soft, like it's kind of slippery, smooth fabric. Anyway, that's besides the point. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm going to use it. So I got this, and this is going to be detrimental in making the skirt, and I'm really glad that I got this. The last piece of fabric I have is not really a piece of fabric, it's actually a shirt, but it is a 100% linen button-up that I also thrifted probably like a year or so ago now, and I wasn't planning on using it for my wedding dress at all. I just got it because it was a really nice piece of linen. It's like the exact texture, like super soft, delicious, crinkly linen that I was planning on using, and I was like, why would I buy more linen when I already have this? And like, that's plenty for what I need. So that's the fabric. I also have some other things that I ordered that I want to show. First of all, I got these from Hobby Lobby, but I had these delicious sparkly beads that I want to just like sprinkle across like the skirt and potentially like on the bodice, like on the neckline, and I think that's going to be really pretty. Just to add like the tiniest bit of shimmer. From Etsy I got, so just some plain like white sparkly sequins and then some butterfly sequins, which I was really excited to find these. I have been watching From Carly B's videos where she's making her wedding dress and she got butterfly sequins, and I was like, yes, I need those for mine. I also got some really lovely flower beads, and I'm just so excited to like sprinkle these throughout my dress. That's going to be such a delight. And the last thing I want to show you is the shoes. Here they are. They're just super delightful little ballet flats with this lovely little like crisscross ankle situation. They have a little bow on the front and they're just like super pretty and really nice, and I'm really happy about them. When I put them on, I was just like, these are so pretty, and I felt really pretty in them. When I bought the shoes, I was planning on having more of an off-white dress, but like that still looks pretty, so it'll be fine. The main goal for this dress is mostly just for like the feeling I want to have when I'm wearing it. I just want to feel like a delightful little flower that's covered in like twirly petals that are just light and delicate and fluffy and airy, and I just want to feel like a princess with just like a big skirt that isn't like overly dramatically huge, but like is twirly and light and fluffy, and with just like hints of little shimmery bits and details and delightfulness. I want to be able to like dance and move and feel comfortable, and I just want to feel like a delightful little flower, and I really want to feel pretty and lovely, and hopefully I will be able to turn all of those feelings into a dress. I'm not Fig keeps, if you hear any background noise, it's Fig. She's running around and getting into literally anything that she can. Anyway, I just want to feel really pretty and lovely, and I'm really excited about all this, and I'm really happy to finally be starting on this. There's been a lot of other planning of other stuff for the wedding and like my bridal shower, but now today and tomorrow are dedicated completely to this dress, and I'm so happy about it. Onto the design of the dress, which I do actually have mostly worked out in my head since it took so long for the fabric to arrive. That's kind of what I've been doing, is just like figuring out every single detail and like planning it out. Anyway, so the dress is going to be made out of two parts, and the first part is the underdress, which is going to be made out of my like main florally fabric. First off, the bodice is going to be actually pretty similar to my garden party birthday dress. I'm going to have like a gathered top section into like a really fitted waistband. I'm going to make that like slightly shorter than my actual natural waist because I'm going to be having a corset on top, and I don't want like the waistlines to be wonky, so I'd rather have that be shorter so then the corset can fit like right at my natural waist. I'm making the bodice of the underdress like this, even though like you're not going to be able to see it at all, because I just want there to be like a little bit of gathers happening like at the neckline, and because with having like the tight waistband that's going to give me like a lot of support. That is the plan. And then I'm going to have really delightfully puffed bishop sleeves, which I'm really excited about. And then for the skirt, which I'm really excited about this, I'm going to have a lot of layers in the skirt because I just want it to be like when I twirl when I'm dancing, that you can just see so many delicious layers, and it's all just like flowing and magical and floating about me. To accomplish that feeling, I'm going to have several layers in the skirt. I'm not sure how many yet, but I'm just going to use as much of this bolt of fabric that I can and make like several big circle skirts so that they're all like twirly whenever I twirl. And then my flowery fabric is just going to like float right on top of those layers, and it's going to be super pretty. I might have to make a petticoat to wear underneath of all that. I also just don't know how thick that's going to be, sewing it into like the waistband of my dress. So I might have to do like a petticoat situation, which I would be totally fine with. Lastly, we have the corset, which is going to be made out of that linen, and I want to keep that very simple. The main thing that I want to accomplish with the corset is that I want it to fit like really nicely. I have a hard time getting bodices to like fit me exactly the way I want to, so I really want to take the time to make this one like snatched and good and solid. I'm just going to keep it like the plain white. I'm not going to do a ton of embellishments on it because I want that to kind of break up the busyness of the floral fabric that the rest of the dress is going to be. And then that will lace up in the back, and I'm going to like crochet some of that crochet thread and use that to lace it up because I think that'll be really pretty. And another thing that I forgot to mention is that the bodice of the main dress in the back will be lower than the corset, so the corset is going to be like the top of the neckline in the back, so then I have like just a little bit of a low back situation. It's going to be like the bodice is going to have like a little bit of a high neck, and then it'll go into like a slightly low back. So my plan for accomplishing all of this is to just get the base dress done as quickly as I can and not do like any sort of embellishments or any sort of like detaily stuff until that is done. So then I at least know that I have a dress that is finished and wearable to wear on my wedding day. This is definitely like the longest amount of time I've given myself for a project that has like a set deadline. Right now, I'm not really worried about getting it done, especially because a lot of it is really simple. It's just I'm going to put a lot more effort into it than I normally would because I want this to be really nice and I want to make it like as good as I possibly can. Like I'm going to finish everything really nicely. I want to make sure there's no raw edges absolutely anywhere and just finish everything to the best of my ability so that this just is a really nice project. Because this is my wedding dress and this is like the most important dress I'm going to be making in my entire life, and I just want it to be really nice and I want to feel really good about what I've made when it comes to my wedding day. I also just do not literally whatsoever want to be scrambling to finish this at the last minute, which is why I just want to get the base done so then I don't have to worry. I have a dress and then I can do as much embellishments as I have time for, because I will not be sewing on stuff the night before my wedding because I'm not going to allow that because that just sounds awful. Originally, this video you are seeing now was going to be the beginning of what I thought was going to be a 2-part video series about making my wedding dress. But I've decided to split this up into 3 parts, meaning that there are 2 more videos about my wedding dress coming up. So if you'd like to see what hours and hours of work and dedication look like, stick around for parts 2 and 3 of making my wedding dress.